Gingerbread Man Down, Clean Up on Aisle podcast. Welcome back to Clean Up on Aisle podcast, the dirty truth about grocery stores. I'm Jef Harmatz, here with my co-host, Adam Fligsten. We're joined today by our special guest, Vera Drew. Hello, Vera.
Hello.
Hey, Vera.
I didn't know the name of the podcast till just now. That's a great name.
Oh, thank you. It's not like we're recording these episodes without the podcast like out on a feed, so if we can get a little surprise from the silly ass name of the podcast if we can get that little pop, we'll take it while we can get it. So,
Jef, I don't think I told you that our mutual friend David Allen laughed about as hard as I've seen him laugh when I told him the name of the podcast. So it works.
Hello, Vera. We're doing this on camera, and Adam and I were both very much admiring is that your bedroom, living room? Like, what room is that? Office?
It's my bedroom and I guess my office as well. When my movie was in legal hell, my movie The People's Joker, now available on VOD, Blu-ray, and DVD, and VHS. When my movie was in legal hell, I lost my mind and needed a big art project to do. So I turned my office into the Black Lodge from Twin Peaks. I also put leaves on my ceiling.
Oh wow.
Because I wanted it to kind of also feel like a rainforest cafe.
It's amazing.
Do you have any I haven't been to a rainforest cafe in 25 years. They have animatronic animals there, right?
Yeah, I don't have any animatronic animals here yet, but I'm saving up.
Yeah, here Chuck E. Cheese is kind of discounting. They're remaindering all of their dancing rats or whatever they have.
Really?
It's all LED screens now. Yeah, it's really annoying. It's just cartoons. Yeah.
Oh, that's a bummer. But it's good news for me. I'm going to buy some rats.
I've got to say, so I'm in my new office that I set up in the last 6 months in my house. It's not, so we've said that, yeah, your office looks like the Black Lodge from Twin Peaks. I didn't really theme mine as heavily as yours, but I did try and get the rug, or I guess in Twin Peaks it's like the tile. Is it a chevron pattern? What do you call that?
Yeah, that's the name.
I went and found a very cheap knockoff Twin Peaks rug, and I'm looking at it right now, and it was one of those things where I'm like, it says Twin Peaks rug, it's $50, and they're gonna deliver it at my door. I'm prepared to be disappointed by this rug. And then the rug showed up and I was even beyond the level of disappointment that I could have prepared myself for. It's a really, really whack Twin Peaks rug. I'm sitting on it right now. It came out of the bag looking brown, essentially.
Oh, yeah. It's a great show, but they definitely skimp on their merch sometimes, I think.
You've got to go unofficial. You've got to buy the books written by Mark Frost and David Lynch's daughter, and then anything else you got to kind of get it off Temu, bootlegged.
Got to get the comic you made.
Oh yes, yeah.
The Tammy Preston fanfic. I'm sorry to call it fanfic.
It's 100% is fanfic. So, I thought, well, not to get too into Twin Peaks, but I thought that a misunderstood character, Tammy Preston from Twin Peaks season 3. So I wanted to do her a little justice. I hope I did. I hope I was able to. So
I think you did. She's one of my favorite characters, and yeah, I was glad to see her get some glory.
Mm-hmm. People were very mean about the actor that portrayed her on the show, Krista Bell.
She moves like a velociraptor in that show, and that's one of my favorite things about her performance. And I feel like that's also, I get why people don't like it. I don't know. People are just mean to women. I don't want to say anything too controversial.
So I've got to ask, and staying on the Twin Peaks thing for just a little bit longer. I'm a new convert to David Lynch. I saw my first David Lynch movie when, I don't know, 2010. So I was a fully grown man. I wasn't a teenager or anything like that. I was a grown up. and I'm like all in now. Obviously, I've drawn a Twin Peaks fan fiction comic strip or whatever. But when I was watching all of the David Lynch movies for the first time, I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna have nightmares about that last movie until the next David Lynch thing I see. And I still am having like terrifying David Lynch nightmares. I had a nightmare about the mystery man from The Lost Highway just a couple nights ago that kept me up all night. How wise is it to convert your bedroom into like nightmare fuel, like famous, horrifying, weird, strange place that's upsetting to look at?
I up until recently, I was wondering how much if this has been good for my mental state or bad for it. Like my friend Remy Boydell, another amazing artist that I'm just totally name dropping because I think it's cool that I have friends that are amazing artists. But Remy said that she turned her room into the Black Lodge a few years ago, and it gave her bad luck. And I haven't been able to like shake that maybe that I wonder if like, I was just like texting somebody that like I have $100 in my bank account. Like, is that because my bedroom is the Black Lodge, or is it just because of the career I've chosen for myself? But I don't know. I did read something today that said even the like iconography, the nightmare fuel iconography aside, I read something today that said psychologists think that like that sleeping in a red room can disrupt your sleep. And I haven't really noticed that. Like my sleep's probably it's as good as it ever was. I don't know. I feel inspired whenever I'm in here. That's the thing. It's weird because it's like I feel like in the show it is such a scary place. But whenever I'm in here, it's like I don't know. It feels, our whole house is painted, very bright colors, and has like our bathroom is like this beautiful like light sky blue, and all the pictures and art we have are just like naked women and sailboats and stuff. And so in the context of our home, it just kind of makes sense that this would be a space in it, I think.
Jef, I don't know if you've noticed the past few times we've recorded this, my ceiling has red lights, which balances natural lighting very, very well, and it looks really good. But then when the sun goes down, it just gets redder and redder and redder, which I read is actually supposed to be pretty good for your sleep because you're not looking at it's like the opposite of blue screen, which keeps you up, which is kind of why I do it. But it doesn't look good on a podcast. So I kept noticing myself turning into this like golem in a red room. I don't know if that's good vibes or bad, but
I think those are good vibes.
I have not figured out lighting. Again, I'm a full grown up, and I've like never put much thought into lighting at all. I know, Vera, you are a filmmaker, so obviously put a lot of thought into lighting. But like, I just like grab the light bulbs and I bring them home, and then my partner says, "You got the wrong light bulbs. These are like bright white or vanilla white." And I'm like, I don't. Is it just light? I understand that there are like different qualities of it, but I haven't figured out what light is best for sleeping, what light is best for like relaxing or staying awake or whatever. Like, I don't know, the red lights are good for balancing things.
That's what Adam says. I read differently, but like, I don't know. I just think like, what is a psychologist actually like, how do you, because for me, what Adam says makes sense. Like the red light, actually, the red color, it's also having the green on my ceiling. Like, I don't know. I think fake plants are really underrated because like obviously they're tackier than having real plants, but I couldn't put like a grid of actual leaves on my ceiling inside my home. Like that wouldn't make sense. So like when my brain sees the red walls, the red curtains with this beautiful green, it's like I'm in like it's like I'm in a womb, but like a womb with like a jungle ceiling. And that's like the best place you could possibly be. I mean, like that's where I'm trying to go.
You got to get like a waterbed or like what's those tanks where you're an isolation tank where you can just like float in your womb.
Yeah. Precog.
Yeah. Get a guy to roll some marbles around and Tom Cruise can, do his little touchscreen computer. So we should start talking about some grocery store stuff. Vera, how do you shop? Like, I guess I want to know all about the stuff, but when you were growing up, where did you grow up and how often were you going to grocery stores and what grocery stores did you go to?
When I was growing up, I grew up in the Midwest in the south suburbs of Chicago. And I'm trying to think of what the name of the place was. I think it was called Omni. And we also went to Jewel Osco. And I mean, I think like most of my childhood memories are grocery shopping with my mom. I hated it. I absolutely hated it when I was a kid. But now I'm realizing too, that's probably, I feel like grocery stores in the 90s really, they really contributed to like what my musical tastes are, just because like it was like a lot of yacht rock and dad rock and then also like, like the Cranberries and stuff.
All right. Like, I think music at the grocery store is an enormous topic. Like, me and Adam have not really scratched the surface on that, but dad rock means something different here in 2025. When you define the dad rock that you're hearing at the Osco, the Jewel Osco.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm thinking like
not Slipknot.
No, like Doobie Brothers,
Okay.
like yacht rock, like real like men who are doing cocaine out of women's butts. That's like I remember. I'm sure the first time I ever heard "Oh, what a night, late December back in '63." I'm sure I was in the front part of a shopping cart while my mom was at Jewel Osco, buying our off-brand, the bottom, not the name brand cereal. She was going to those bags of generics,
the Malto meals.
Yeah. Not to put Tammy on blast, but it wasn't a lot of variety. But my dad always used to, like he was very like, there was always red licorice in the house that was specifically just for my dad, and Diet Coke, red licorice and Diet Coke.
Was the red licorice in the big plastic canister, like the with the screw top?
No, actually, because he was like a Red Vines guy, so in the plastic bags. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that something that influenced you as an adult now? Red licorice and Diet Coke?
I actually the other day, I'm editing a movie right now, and we were filming. We're posting out of this office building, so we're sharing this space with like a bunch of other shows and stuff. And like office conversations, just how they're like, I don't miss working in an office. It's just like these surface level conversations. Like I walked into the kitchen area and they were talking about how well, I like Coke Zero. Well, I like Diet Coke. Well, I like Coke Zero because it tastes like regular Coke. And I was walking to the kitchen to get a regular Coke. And as I was walking up, I was like, I'm going to get this regular Coke, and they're going to comment on it. They're going to think that I'm getting this because they're having this conversation. And they did. Like I reached into the mini fridge and got a regular Coke, and they're like, "Oh, well, Vera's just throwing caution to the wind," and I've just been out of office life for so many years that like I couldn't even like fake that I was interested. I just literally said like, you only live once. So I'm going to have a Coke. I'm not going to have a fucking Diet Coke. Okay. Like if I'm going to die from drinking soda, I'm going to die from drinking a full flavored, like high fructose corn syrup Coca-Cola. I'm not going to do this fucking Coke Zero, Diet Coke bullshit. Like, forget it. Like, what are we doing? There aren't healthy cigarettes.
I appreciate you're going all in. Yeah, like Coke is kind of the unfiltered version of the the cola, but like Diet Coke has got to be much worse for you. All that. I don't know how to say it right. Is it aspartame or aspartame? All that shit's horrible for you.
There's a lot of debate about this. Be careful. People
All right.
feel very. Not me. I'm
Okay.
a full Coke. I don't like that stuff at all. But there are doctors who claim that it's as healthy as water and blah blah blah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It can't be.
I mean, I can taste it. I know that when I drink it, I'm like, this is bad for me. Whatever this is terrible.
No, that's the thing. I think specifically about Diet Coke. It does just taste like chemicals to me. I don't know what Coke Zero tastes like. I don't think I've ever had a Coke Zero, but like, I don't know. Like Coca-Cola itself just tastes like Coca-Cola. Like I'm just like, oh, this is just, but then Diet Coke, it's like, this is like, I also had recently, I had this, it's like this health food stuff called Jing. Have you ever heard of this?
I've heard of Flyby Jing, but I don't know. It's a soda?
It's like these droplets that you can put into like water or like a carbonated, like a sparkling water. Bill Maher's obsessed with it. Like if you ever watch Club Random, like you'll see him like, oh, this is Jing. It tastes just like diet soda. And it has like, it has whatchamacallit, anise in it, the stuff that's in licorice, I guess. But I tried that recently and it actually terrified me because it did just taste like watered down Diet Coke. And it's a health food, so it's bad for you too.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yeah, I didn't really get that from my dad. I do like red licorice, but I don't know that I've ever bought it. If it's there, I'll try some.
I've got to bring up a few Coke opinions of mine if we're digging into the Coke thing. This is not such an opinion. This is a theory I've heard about Diet Coke, that Diet Coke is actually the new Coke formulation. Like, they invented the new Coke. They brought out the new Coke in the 80s to try and capitalize on Pepsi. And Coca-Cola went back to the original formula and became Coca-Cola Classic. But having never tried new Coke, I'm told that Diet Coke is like still the new Coke formulation. And that's why like it tastes different. And that's why they have the Coke Zero, which tastes more like Coca-Cola Classic. And people really ride or die for the Diet Coke.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
It does make sense.
I'm too young to have ever tried new Coke, though, unfortunately. And I guess my second controversial cola opinion, the best thing in the entire world is the LaCroix cola flavor. Have you all tried that?
I haven't tried it, but I've heard really good things.
I like it a lot. I don't know if I would call it the best thing in the world, but it's very good. It's very refreshing. You get that. It doesn't have that aspartame stuff, but you get the kind of cola flavor, and you feel refreshed. And it's good. It's good for sure.
When I'm laying off the sauce for a while, like that is like my go-to. Like I can skull like a whole 8-pack of those in a night, and I'm like, I'm in heaven. So getting back to your grocery store stuff. So you have bad memories of being in the Omni or the Jewel Osco, but still. You love the music. You return to the music.
Yeah, I always go back to the music.
What was it that you didn't like about it? I'm not trying to play therapist here, but like you said, you had bad memories of shopping.
It's just it's the thing I don't miss about being a kid is just the lack of control. Just like I have to get in the car with my mom. I have to get in a grocery. It's like, and I think back to like, I'm sure in retrospect when we would go to the grocery store, I'm sure we were only there for like 20 minutes, but it would feel like hours. It's just boring, I think I would have rather been home playing Sonic the Hedgehog or Legos or we had illegal cable when I was a kid, so that fill in the blank there. And now it's weird because like I when I think about it too, it's like I always loved spending time with my mom. My mom's an artist, so I would love like hanging out with her and like painting and stuff. I guess that's just what it is. It's honestly it's not too different from like what life is now for me, where it's just like I'd rather just be playing with my toys or making something than doing all this like adult shit. I don't particularly love going to the grocery store today, like nowadays, unless like today I wanted a treat for it's a little warm in Los Angeles. So I was like, I'm going to get some ice cream. And I went and did that. That's fun. But just like going and getting groceries. I'm sorry. I know this is the point of your podcast, but it's probably one of my least favorite things to do.
It's not for everybody.
I'm pretty much there. I mean, I'm fascinated. That's why we do in the podcast. I'm fascinated by them, but I do not enjoy. Jeff's the opposite. I do not enjoy going to the grocery store. I will put it off as long as I can, and then when I have to, I will go. I'll go as late at night as possible, so there will be as few people around. Maybe it's that fear of being perceived, like your coworkers. It's like I just want to do my thing. I don't want anybody to comment on what's in my cart, Trader Joe's style or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Do they known for doing that?
Oh, Trader Joe's is always, it's like, and it's always like, are these good? These peanut butter pretzels you're getting? It's like, yeah, no, they're not. They're not good. They're not good. That's why I'm getting them. Like, and it's like, it sucks because it's like, I don't know. My partner worked at Trader Joe's. So like, I've done this, no, they're not good shtick to her. And she's like, the manager's like making them say that. And it's like, yeah. And that's the one who I have a problem with. I don't think these kind of interactions are adding anything to my day. But one time I went to Trader Joe's and they did that. I was buying some like pita bread and they were like, oh, this pita bread is pretty good, right? And I was like, yeah. And I just kind of looked down. And there was like a moment of silence, and then she said, all right, I've got a question of the day for you.
Oh no. What?
What's a movie you like to watch when you're sick? And I was like, oh, okay. And that I liked. That for some reason I liked that social interaction, because then it got me thinking, and I think the answer was that day the answer was Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Or Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I probably said both.
I mean, yeah. What are you supposed to say? Like the pretzels are bad. They're for my dog. I'm just buying them to throw them away. I'm trying to like prevent anybody else from making the mistake of buying these. Like, what was with the question of the day? I've never been asked a question of the day by a checkout person either. Like, is that something that happens a lot?
It was the first time it's ever happened to me.
Okay.
Maybe it was just, I don't know. I assume everything that's always happening to me is just because I'm trans. So maybe it's just because I'm trans.
I will tell you, like, I don't know if this it's not like a super pleasant story, but I'm in a small town. I live in Yucca Valley these days, and like I know all the people at the grocery store, and like the last strange interaction I had with a checkout person, like I had to tell him that his grandma fell. Like I know his grandma from the dog park, and I like give her rides occasionally. And I saw her grandson, and I was like, "Oh, well, yeah, I saw your grandma last night. Have you checked in on her in a minute?" He's like, "No," and I'm like, "Oh, you should check in on your grandma." Like, I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news with you right now, but like, she had a pretty bad spill, and like might have some other health stuff going on. So I don't know, give your grandma a call, man. And he appreciated it. He was very nice about it, but I was like, I'm not trying to like show up to the grocery store as like the harbinger of doom, like the Grim Reaper telling everybody like all the bad shit all the time. So
no, that's you like being the Lost Highway guy, kind of.
Yeah, call your grandma. She's here right now.
Yeah. I can't imagine. Do you like the small town vibes of Yucca?
Yeah, I really do. I miss the big city vibes. People recognize you. I'm a little bit of a public figure these days, so like I've been stopped in the grocery store in my gym clothes, and I'm like on my way back from the gym and like absolutely disgusting. And a little kid comes, or a mom says, "Sorry, my daughter's obsessed with you," and is like a 10-year-old. Can she say hi? And I'm like, "Oh, I look like shit right now." So, I know that you've got some notoriety as well. I have to dress up to go to the grocery store and to run errands now. So,
yeah, it is weird because like I feel like at least in LA, people I definitely get recognized sometimes, but it's like in LA I feel like people don't really say anything to me, but like in other places, like like when I'm in Chicago, I get people know who I am.
In LA you're probably like, you're there and you're pretty famous, but there's probably also like Ron Perlman there buying vegetables or whatever, like and people know how to act around famous people a little bit in LA too, because usually when you go to the store, you're seeing Ron Perlman buying vegetables, and you can't tell him that you love Hellboy or Sons of Anarchy. You just got to let the guy buy peas.
Although one time, it's funny that you brought up Ron Perlman because I saw him at a dog park. I saw him at a dog park like 10 years ago. He was just dressed in denim. He was wearing like all denim. And I just kept saying, I didn't see, for some reason, this is what I do when I see famous people is I don't say hi to them. I just loudly say, "Oh, that's Ron Perlman." And he heard me. And the same thing just happened a few weeks ago because I was at the movies and I was leaving the movie. We went and saw, I'm not going to say what the movie was. Got enough press, but it was a new A24 movie. And we were leaving and Mark Maron was in front of us. And I just kept saying, "Holy shit, that's Mark Maron." And he definitely heard me. And I had like a panic attack afterwards just because like I was so I don't know what I would do if I just heard somebody say, "That's Vera Drew," like in that kind of way.
What if they like? I really appreciate you commenting on Ron Perlman's all denim outfit. Like, what if he went on the podcast and was like, "I can't believe what Vera was wearing at the dog park that day." Like,
yeah. Well, if I was wearing all denim, like it was just he looked like, I don't even know. It was so weird because it's like. Also, I think if I was wearing all denim, I would look cute. But Ron Perlman in all denim is like. It's like, what are you doing? But I don't know. What else is he supposed to wear?
I mean, he's a pretty big guy, or is he like actually short in person? He has a presence. He has like a big vibe about him. But like, what's his size like?
I think he's a little taller. I think he was like probably about 6'2", maybe.
Okay.
I don't know, but kind of stocky, maybe. Not like fat, kind of like Hellboy, kind of.
Yeah. But he's like a big dude. He's like a big denim billboard. Like, where's my dog? I got to look past this giant man in denim, like to make sure my dog's not pooping. Real quick, we got to move to the present. But you're the first person that's mentioned Jewel Osco on our show. I grew up in Southern California, and we had a thing that was Save On, and then like their store brand stuff was like all Osco. So like obviously it's the same conglomerate, just like different regional names or whatever. But like was Osco like a proper grocery store, or was it closer to like, I guess a Save On you'd compare it to more like a Walgreens or a Rite Aid these days, like a chain pharmacy? Like what was the Jewel Osco all about?
Jewel, like the Jewel side. Jewel was almost like a Ralph's, I guess, or like a Dominic's. I think Dominic's was also under the same conglomerate, but the Omni was almost like the pharmacy, or the Osco was like the pharmacy side of it. I think it was like, so there were some places that were just a Jewel, but then like a Jewel, and they were just like the grocery store. And then like a Jewel Osco, I think, was like the grocery store plus a pharmacy. But now I think it's pretty standard that like most like chain grocery stores just have a pharmacy inside. Probably because of like Walmart and all those evil places. But I don't know. Jewel was like it was a very calming, clean place. I when I think back to it, it's like it's I as aesthetically, the lettering was like I think kind of a dark orange, and I always liked the way their signs glowed. I'm also remembering now we used to also go to there was a local, like a mom and pop grocery store in my hometown called Burcott's, and that place was nice. It was like more like a small like little market, but we stopped going because we saw rats there all the time. They hit all the time, all the time. Like,
okay, like running along like the cereal shelves, like going like digging into a Cocoa Krispies box, or like
yeah, just like seriously, like just out there, like in a way that it's like, I guess, like, I mean, I hope they've taken care of it. They're still open. When I was just home, like I drove by there, and there still is like a Burkhott's, but it's a real. They had a real rat problem at Burkott.
That's a good setting for a cartoon. Rats in a grocery store. Lots of antics could be had.
Rats taking over Burkhott's. Burkhott's is such a fun name to say. You should try it.
Burkhott's.
How do you spell it?
Berkotts. I think it's like somebody's last name.
Gotta be.
Yeah.
Because I mean, yeah, you don't want the grocery store to be hot. Like that sounds like it's going to be sweltering when I walk in there. Just rats running around, and like the ice cream's all melting out of the coolers and stuff like that. And the watermelons are going rotten. They got the little stink lines coming up off of them.
I'm sorry, this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I just had like this flashback to I had like a late in life autism diagnosis, and much of my life now is having these flashbacks to like not warning signs, but like ways in which that showed up in my youth. And I'm remembering a very palpable memory of being a kid, and we were at Burcott's, and my cousin Derek was there, and my mom said, "Look, that's Derek." But I couldn't see. I had face blindness. I couldn't see him. And it was just because I had never seen Derek in a Burcott's before. So I couldn't fathom what he looked like. And thanks for letting me say this. You can cut this out of the show. I need to say this out loud because it creates healing within me to describe things like this when I remember them.
Of course, we're here to heal. We're all about healing here on Clean Up on Aisle podcast.
Yeah, you're cleaning up my trauma.
I do want to move into the future about your current stuff, but I've got to ask. You mentioned it earlier. You said you went out to the grocery store and got some ice cream. What kind of ice cream did you get? What kind of brand? What's your fancy level on ice cream? I'm dying to know.
I am so like white trash. I got 2 ice cream Snickers bars, and they were
so good though.
They're so good.
Yeah,
and they were 2 for $4 or 2 for $4.50. And I was like, well, I'll get one now, and then I'll have the other one later. And I ate both in my car, in my fucking car.
I love those. Those are the most incredible like ice cream innovation in like the last 20 years. But it's got to be filled with antifreeze and like that caramel. Like that's the only way they keep it that gooey. It's like the Diet Coke effect. It's like that it's poisonous, but it's fucking delicious.
Yeah, no, it's weird because I felt nothing after I ate them. I didn't feel like I had sustenance, or that like I ate something bad. Which is even more ominous, that it'd be like, oh wow, like this is just like I ate something that had taste. And it's why like health food stuff scares me sometimes, like especially anything that's like supplement dropper things. And I don't know, because I make a lot of tea at home, and I use powders sometimes, like ashwagandha powder and those even, it's like it's so weird having something that says like this is gonna help your gut health or like reset your nervous system, but then you taste it and you're like, well, this is clearly the most
Yeah,
Anyway, sorry.
I've seen no. I'm seeing a lot of like powders into water. Like I know that water talk is a thing, and like I'm really out of the loop on people like water additives or whatever. Like
The ones that I've had always have like weird grain alcohol in them. Like I don't know that's like so I just always taste that, and it does not taste healthy at all.
No, like kava, I don't know, like tasting that stuff. It's just like, what is this? It's like having nail polish remover or something, and it gets you fucked
kava,
up.
it's not the sparkling wine, right? It's the other kava.
No, it's like I mean, it's like probably I think it's definitely like colonialism shit, because like I think it was like a ceremonial like thing that was probably in like the Amazon or something, that like calms you down. Like you can have it before like, you know, a meditation or you know, a tricky business proposal that you got to make. But yeah, it's like you know, it's like the opposite of matcha, I guess. But matcha I would also put in that category where it's like, well, this was like for rituals, and now, you know, horrible white women like me are just having it so that we can stay awake and make more money.
So you mentioned that you don't like to grocery shop anymore. What's your grocery shopping situation these days? How often are you going in a week? We go into the same store, different stores? I know you mentioned you're a Trader Joe's person sometimes when they got the peanut butter pretzels.
Yeah, I go usually about once or twice a week. You know, I'd say I do like my main run once a week, and then, you know, I often like run out of the longer term things. I'll go to Trader Joe's for my produce and my chicken and because I really kind of only I usually avoid red meat, at least at home. Like chicken and salmon I'll get from Trader Joe's, and that is just because it's cheap, which is a little concerning because like I don't really understand how they're able to keep their prices down. So oftentimes when I'm buying the chicken there, I'm like, it scares me that this like, you know, week's worth of chicken thighs is only costing me like $4, but I guess I'll do it because, you know, I'll just take those GMOs or whatever the fuck is like creating this chicken. I'll also go to Pavilion sometimes, you know, to get some of those name brand things. And I've also become a bit of a Sprouts girl. I like Sprouts for their bulk items. I'm a real morning oats girl. I love making my overnight oats and waking up to a big bowl of hot porridge. So I'm going to Sprouts and I'm scooping it out of their bins.
The big bulk bin?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I love Sprouts. I go to Sprouts all the time. It's more expensive than you think it's going to be. You kind of walk in and be like, oh, it's just like Ralph's or whatever. And you wind up spending, I don't know, 40% more. But the bulk stuff is awesome. The produce is, I don't know. I love Sprouts. If I can, I go there fairly often. And it's kind of the only one with a bulk section left, because I think Whole Foods used to have one before Bezos. Yeah.
Winco by me still has bulk, but
I think Bezos killed the bulk section.
Okay.
Yeah, that's definitely what has happened. I will not go to. Well, maybe I should. Well,
you can talk
theoretically. Theoretically, I think if one. Because the thing about Whole Foods is they have really great shit there. They have really, really great shit there. And a friend told me once that it's actually very easy to shoplift at Whole Foods. That it's actually very, very easy, especially if you go to their meat counter and you buy like a big, brisket, for instance. Let's just say you could go to the meat counter, you get, nice big 10-ounce brisket. And again, this is just a friend told me this. You could just walk right out of there with the confidence that you paid for that brisket and they're not going to stop you.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only time I think, I mean, I've never been to a Whole Foods. This is all just stuff that I've read about, but
yeah, your friend is just telling you, it's just interesting advice for them.
and for your listeners, maybe.
When I lived by the Whole Foods 365 that opened in Silver Lake, like it was the first of its kind, the Whole Foods Trader Joe's knockoff. Been talking about it a lot in other episodes. We're probably going to do a whole episode about it, but
oh wow,
God bless him. I really didn't feel like there were any grown-ups that worked there, and so when you say you just kind of stroll out of there with confidence, I'm like, yeah, no one's going to stop you. They're all like, I don't want to say that they're checking their TikTok or whatever, but they're waiting for their smoke break and figuring out who they're going to make out with when, quitting time's done. It's a bunch of horny young adults, and that's fine. And that's a good vibe to work in, but not a great vibe when you're trying to buy garlic. So
also, like, I think yes. And I think, like, when it comes to shoplifting, like at a grocery store, in a grocery store type situation, all you have to do, if you get stopped shoplifting, just start crying, just start give yourself a panic attack and just say, I'm sorry, I thought I paid for it, I'm just so confused, like today's just been so hectic and I just really needed to get something, I'm sorry, I just wasn't thinking, and they'll let you go.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know I can't guarantee that happen. A friend just told me that's what you can do if you get caught doing it.
Is that what Julianne Moore does in Magnolia? I've been thinking about Magnolia a lot lately. Like, does she accidentally walk out of the pharmacy with someone in her pocket or something like that? Am I remembering that correct?
Well, the pharmacist judges her for because she's picking up all this like morphine and things that are like going to kill her husband. And then he's calling the doctor to make sure the prescriptions, and she's like breaking down crying. And then he's like, hey, make sure you don't take all that stuff together. And then she, as she's leaving, she's fuck you, I suck my dick. And the only reason I know this is because I made a remix. I made an edit remix of Magnolia, of that scene from Magnolia, a year or two ago.
Oh,
it's not really a movie you want to rewatch that often.
Yeah, sounds pretty light and frivolous, a little bubbly, a little fizzy.
Yeah.
My partner swears for her Magnolia is a cursed movie. I think she's seen it 2 times, and every time she watches it, somebody dies, like in a real life. So I haven't seen Magnolia since before I met my partner, 15 years ago or whatever. But it's been dancing around in my head. Maybe I'll watch it when she's out of town, but I do believe the curse is real.
Don't watch it at your house, because then you'll be blamed for anything bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can get them to put it on at the sports bar. Can you guys turn off the Dodgers? I'd love to watch Magnolia, please. Let's get some Magnolia going.
Tom Cruise is really good in that movie. That's like kind of all that ever. Because I think Paul Thomas Anderson is an amazing director, but he did a lot of cocaine. That era of Paul Thomas Anderson, he was doing a lot of cocaine, and you can really tell with that film in particular that he wrote one draft and didn't get any notes. He just, because he just made Boogie Nights, so like he could just do whatever he wanted. But it's so weird for a movie that's like about death and really is about like his dad dying. It's like it's such a cokey. It's a very cokey movie. It's very first draft, and it's like 3.5 hours long.
Super long. when I think of Cokie movies, the one that comes to mind is New York, New York, the Robert De Niro, Liza Minnelli one that I think is also 3 hours and does not need to be 3 hours. That's like, could have done that in a 90, tight 90 on that one.
You unlocked kind of the Magnolia for me because I never knew how to make sense of it. But now it's like, oh, he was just doing a lot of coke. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. No, it's, and I don't even mean that in a judgmental way. Like, I was doing a ton of psychedelics when I made my first movie, and say what you want about that a movie made on that drug. Like, I mean, I think part of being a director is, sort of destroying your brain in the process of making a piece of work. Look at Francis Ford Coppola.
Megalopolis, that was a wild one. So definitely a destroyed brain guy.
Yeah.
Worth mentioning, Paul Thomas Anderson. I haven't seen it in a very long time because it actually terrified me the first time I watched it when I was in college. But is Punch Drunk Love one of the great grocery store movies? Question mark.
I think you know the answer.
I can't think of what else rivals it.
Well, it's time to dig into the topic if y'all are ready for that. Well, Vera, we kind of pitched you a few topics, and you kind of came back to us with conveyor belts. Do you have a history with conveyor belts? Do you have a lot of conveyor belt opinions?
Not really. And actually, like, I don't know why I responded. You had a list of topics. You had like literal things on there that I actually cared about, like hot dogs. And I just wanted, I guess this was almost like, it's like when, you're at war, which we've all been, and you see a grenade fall on the ground and then you dive on it to protect your platoon. That's what this is. I didn't want anybody else to have this topic.
Well, I found it to be quite interesting. Like, that's been the fun of this podcast is like, I was at a party recently and I told somebody like, oh, we like to talk about like conveyor belts and rotisserie chicken. And she was like, oh, how long is the podcast? And I was like, it's 90 minutes or so. And she just laughed hysterically. She's like, how do you talk about that shit for 90 minutes? And I'm like, we're doing a pretty good job with it. I've got a pretty sizable amount of research on conveyor belts in grocery stores. But what's the earliest you went back on this, Adam?
Well, I'm sure you read probably some of the similar articles that I did that actually just talked about conveyor belts in general and when they were. So 1700s is roughly when actual conveyor belts started to be made, and they were just little pieces of wood, plank on leather belt, and then someone would manually crank it. And then and they would load ships up and stuff like that mostly for them. So that's about as early as I went. But in terms of the grocery store, is that what you're talking about? Or
I mean, no, I have all the way back. I've got what's his name, Thomas Robbins in 1892, kind of being considered the inventor of the modern conveyor belt, which, like all good innovations, was used for moving coal from one place to a different place. Coal is never good where it is. You got to get it out, and then gotta move that coal around. That's where the money's at. Is coal movement.
It's like that's fascinating. That is. I'm actually surprised that it took that long to sort of like come up with that. I mean, like, I know like pre-industrial revolution still, which I guess is impressive, but it's such an ingenious device to take like the flat thing and put the rollers under it. And but I would have assumed that some sort of hand crank one would have existed, as far back as, I'm sure the Egyptians had conveyor belts. I'm almost certain of it, but not to knock your research.
No,
sorry.
I mean, I would love to be proven wrong. But as far as we can tell, I mean, as far as these very quick articles that we read, I would love to know though. Jef, did you see the one about the British Navy?
I don't know if I saw the British Navy thing. No.
So in 1804, they were using, again, I think it was hand operated, but it was to deliver biscuits because they had so many biscuits to give the soldiers.
Is this British biscuits? And remind me what a British biscuit is again? Is it different?
Oh,
from,
I guess
like
that's
cookie?
a cookie. Yeah, I guess that's a cookie. I was thinking of a biscuit, but yeah, I guess that is just a cookie. Yeah.
Okay. It's we got to get what's the big cookie company right now? Crumble. Everybody's losing their minds for a Crumble cookie. I've still not had a Crumble cookie, but I can just imagine just them coming down the big crank to the delight of the soldiers. Like, ooh, we got our big treat coming. The macadamia nut and white chocolate chip cookie. Did you find anything about like the first grocery store that rumored to have implemented like machine operated conveyor belts?
Well, which one did you find? Because there's a lot of conflicting. Yeah,
I saw Big Bear, and I kind of did a deep dive into the Big Bear chain. Is that the one that you're seeing is kind of like the credited innovator of that?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
What did you learn about Big Bear?
So hold on, let me grab it. So it's from Columbus, Ohio, and it was considered to be like the first self-serve grocery store in the Midwest and the first in the country to use motorized conveyor belts. It opened in the 1930s. They don't give a specific date for it, but absolutely psychotically and unfortunately tying back into the Rainforest Cafe conversation we were having earlier. So it's called Big Bear Grocery Store, and they had like a mascot that was like a bear that they kept in a cage in the front of the store.
What?
And I guess on opening day, they like chained the bear to the checkout counter and made the bear like scan or like, bring people's groceries from the conveyor belt, like into the bag or whatever. Did you see that photograph?
Oh yeah, I saw it.
And it's like black and white and it looks like it's the 1930s and it's the most psychotic thing I've ever seen.
When people talk about like how bad things are now, it's like, just think about that. Like, that's like one of the worst. That's like one of the most like human evil things I could ever think of.
Like, I don't even know why they needed the conveyor belt. They couldn't just like train the bears to like, they should have just had a fleet of bears and just pushing everybody's carts for them and like bringing them out to the car and stuff. Like, absolutely psychotic. And the chain on that bear is just horrific looking. Like, it's an old black and white photo and it's like kind of got that like graininess of like photos from like the mid 1930s. But nothing sparkles and glimmers like that giant metal ass chain. Like, it's like really like the standout piece of that photograph. Like, pretty upsetting to look at.
Yeah, it's just like that. Like I don't know. It's just the between two wars and you think about how many more slaughterhouses there were on planet Earth and stuff at that point. That's like. It's a bear chained to a fucking cash register. You don't get more American than that either.
Yeah, they like did a bunch of bear stuff too. Like, they didn't always have the bear checking you out, which, I mean, nobody got killed, right? Like, I didn't see any incidents of like mauling, but I would be scared to have a bear check me out. Like, that sounds terrifying.
Well, that's why there's that big chain reminding you.
Yeah.
Who's in charge?
And I mean, what if they like misscan something and then like you're gonna tell the bear? Actually, I didn't get the organic. Can you like, you're charging me too much. You're charging more organic price for these, dragon fruits. Can you like give me the regular price on the dragon fruits, bear?
Vera, that's the last place your friend wants to shoplift.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No.
Although if I was in the Navy and a bear was serving me biscuits, I'd be one happy sailor.
As long as you're not like stealing salmon or picnic baskets, I think the bear ain't going to chase you too much. So, but yeah, psychotic. Absolutely psychotic that the bear was running the counter. They would make like different bears like do tight ropes and stuff like for special events. They'd bring out these bears like just really, really nasty.
What stopped it? Could you find anything about like, was it animal rights group? Did they get involved or something? Or
they said that the main bear, the mascot, outgrew the cage, and so they like gave it to the Columbus Zoo, And then they would bring in like bears for special events, but like they didn't own the bear. They didn't have their own bear again.
So crazy. It's so crazy. They just had a bear in a cage for that long. That's so nuts.
It'd be like if like you went to the grocery store Ralph's and they had like a guy named Ralph like caged in like the front of the store. Like, oh yeah, every Ralph's comes with a guy in a cage named Ralph. He'll do the tightrope walk. He'll get on the little bicycle and like ride around the store every 30 minutes. Yeah, what were some of the next conveyor belt innovations?
So there's this guy named King, or he crowned himself King Cullen. And he sounds like a real kind of Trump-like figure of the mid 1900s. So he was in, where it was in the East Coast. He was in New York, so Long Island, and he credits himself for many grocery store innovations that I don't think were actually his own. And he was working at Kroger. And he wrote this, letter that he thought was like, what was it, that thing you nail to the wall to create a new religion? What am I talking about?
Like what Martin Luther did?
Like what Martin Luther did. So he wrote this letter to Ralph's or to Kroger saying, we have to make a supermarket. You guys are doing lame. They got to be bigger and better and amazing. And if you do that, we will make a ton of money. And apparently he was ignored. And then he started his own chain. It's called King Cullen. And that's where he credits himself for introducing the conveyor belt. But I don't think that's true. But he did have a lot of conveyor belts, air conditioning, automatically opening doors, tile floors. He claims he brought all of those to the forefront.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
His history is written by the victors, and he declared himself king. So, like, obviously, he's the victor. Kings write the history books.
I feel like the grocery store. I just had never really occurred to me until just hearing all that. But like, I feel like there's probably a lot of sick fucks that work in that business. Just like, it's probably really close to like real estate in a way, because they're controlling our food.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you got to think of the ego involved in that. I mean, the man called himself a king.
Yeah. He tells you which bananas you can get, and which varieties of apples that are available. And if you want a golden delicious, you got to go to Kroger. You can't get it from King Ralph. He has decreed it. Fuji only. Wait.
Yeah, it's John Goodman chained up to a cash register.
He's bearish. He's very bearish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you see anything about? I'm kind of obsessed with this. So people, like, the conveyor belt kind of started happening, and then people kept trying to innovate this, like bring more conveyor belts into the scene. Like, they were like, we got one conveyor belt, but like, what about 7? Can we do like extra conveyor belts? Like, I didn't print it out. I don't have the name of the store, but there was like one store that was running, like, you'd check out and then they'd put your food onto a different conveyor belt that would take it out to the parking lot for you. Did you see anything about that, Adam?
Yeah, I did. I think it was more than one store. I think it was actually fairly around, and so they would take your groceries and then stick them out, and then it didn't look all that convenient. It looked like just right outside the store, your groceries would be there, which is not saving that much time, in my opinion.
There's one other even weirder innovation, and then I do want to circle back specifically to that question that you were just asking. Oh, this was it. It's in Montreal, Spot Supermarket in Dorval, where the carts, they had special carts that you would like connect the shopping cart to the conveyor belt, and then the bottom of the cart would actually move and take your groceries out of the cart onto the conveyor belt. And it's like, it was very hard to like actually connect them and get all the pieces to fit. Like, it was super complicated. But like, how much time is that actually saving? And then how much time is a the conveyor belt that we all know and love at the grocery store. Is that actually saving us any time? Like,
well, that
I don't know. What do y'all?
I had never thought until you just said that like its existence is for efficiency, I guess.
But how efficient actually is it? Is it maybe it's just like a gimmick that worked where some of these other gimmicks didn't fucking work and they're like relegated to the dustbins of history, but this one got customers in the door, so now we all just accept it as like, well, it's got to be the most effective way to do it.
I'm so sorry I shit talked this topic in the beginning because to be completely honest, it's like actually blowing my mind. Like I think it is probably efficient if you have a lot of groceries, because then theoretically the cashier can start scanning them while you're still taking them out instead of like waiting for you to take stuff out one by one. The only thing is with that, generally speaking, whenever I'm going up to a conveyor belt, especially in Los Angeles, and I'm buying groceries, I'm waiting. I'm taking stuff out of my cart. I'm putting it onto a conveyor belt, and I'm waiting for, at least 2 to 3 people ahead of me to check out and do their thing. So I don't really know. I don't even know how we'd be able to prove whether or not it's efficient. I guess like if we timed it compared to like, a regular market where you're just pulling stuff out and.
Yeah. I mean, so Trader Joe's, which I haven't been to a Trader Joe's in a minute, you put the basket, like the conveyor belt is not bringing the groceries to the Trader Joe's checker. Like you put your basket on the thing or you push the cart through and they just kind of go through it. Is there a mini conveyor belt on the end for them, or is there no conveyor belts at Trader Joe's?
No conveyor belt. It's zero. Yeah. Just people. And a weird little shelf that they pull.
Yeah. Why can't they just leave the shelf out all the time? Why do they got to slide it in and out?
They probably hit their knees. They'll probably be running into that shit all the time. I would, at least.
I mean, I generally think of like Trader Joe's as relatively efficient as far as like getting checked out of a store. I've heard that the people who work there, at least traditionally, are like happy employees. Like it doesn't seem like a bad place to work. So maybe like it's well staffed and maybe that's why they're able to get people through, but they don't have those conveyor belts, and they seem pretty effective to me.
So a lot of the things that we have researched are like innovations of supermarket stuff, and there will be all these studies like, is it cost effective to do this versus this or something like that? This one was just right away, like the invention of the supermarkets, and then there are conveyor belts, and they just sort of came hand in hand. So there wasn't even any time to do these kind of studies about efficiency. It seems like everybody just started to do them. I don't know.
I mean, it's fun. It's a novel. I mean, we all grew up with it, but at one point it was like novel, and like when you're a little kid, it dazzles you. You're like, hey, look at like this cool thing. Mom, can I put the can of peas on the grocery thing? And watch it go away. So.
I always wanted to climb up onto it. I always wished I could go on the conveyor belt, and I never got to.
When you were a kid, or like a couple weeks ago?
When I was a kid, but now I'm going to be thinking about it because we've talked about it. Like now, when I go to, I need to go to the grocery store tonight. I think because I just realized I'm out of milk and peanut butter. And I want to use some of that in my morning oats. I'm going to be sitting there. I'm going to be staring at the conveyor belt. My eyes are going to be 2 conveyor belts staring at the conveyor belt.
So let me ask you, what do you think about the cleanliness of the conveyor belt? Like, would you put produce directly on there, or do you bag it?
I have put produce on the conveyor belt. But it's something that I'm not necessarily comfortable with. What I tell myself is oftentimes my produce is going right into an Instapot. So any bacteria is just getting cooked up and giving me additional protein. But I'd feel worse like getting a bag, like a plastic bag, but
it's one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't questions or whatever. I've kind of got a little system for when I'll use a bag or not. Like, it depends on the type of produce, like how heavily I feel like I need to wash the produce. So if I'm buying like a head of lettuce, it's usually going to be wet anyway, and I'm like, is this going to cause a lot of commotion on the conveyor belt? Is this going to soak up the joint? But if I'm getting carrots, zucchinis, things that aren't that particularly porous, things that I'm comfortable washing, like I know how to wash a carrot, y'all. I can wash a carrot. So, it's easy. You just, you do that, and don't clip that either. But zucchinis and stuff, but like lettuce or mushrooms, I'll still put in the bag. Like it depends. What about you, Adam? What are you leaving on the conveyor belt? What's a no-go?
I think you're right about the wetness. If something's very wet, I don't want to make that splat over the thing and cause them to wipe it up. So you're right about that. But besides that, I would say just anything that's small enough that you don't want to like roll all over the place. Then I'll probably bag it up.
I mean, my carrots roll around, but I know how to clean a carrot. So
now I don't believe you. Now I don't believe that you know how to clean a carrot. You said it twice.
I have protested too much about the carrot cleanliness. Vera, are you bagging up your chicken?
Well, chicken, I'm normally getting it. I'm never really getting chicken from the butcher counter. I'm usually getting like my pre-wrapped chicken from Trader Joe's.
But even that, I wrap up my chicken just because, like, if it's leaking in my bag, or like we were talking about, conveyor belt cleanliness and like poultry leaking onto the conveyor belts, like one of the main contaminating factors that I was seeing. Just as a habit, I always double bag my chicken.
Yeah, no, I'm realizing. So this is the second time this week somebody's brought up chicken cross contamination to me. So I'm seeing this as a sign that maybe I need to start doing that, just because I think like when you notice coincidences and correspondences in your life, that's God telling you it's time to make a change. Mm-hmm. Because a few days ago, my partner watched me get a piece of chicken. Like, I stabbed a piece of chicken out of a package and I put it in a pot, and then I proceeded to cut carrots directly on the counter with that same knife.
Okay.
And she said, "What are you doing? You shouldn't do that." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she explained salmonella to me. I didn't understand that was like, I've been doing that for as long as we've lived at this. I've been doing that my whole life, and I've never caught salmonella. So, but I'm going to start now because it's come up twice this week.
Yeah, I would strongly encourage you to wash the stuff after the chicken use. That's the most contaminated thing that you can cook within your kitchen, I think, is a chicken.
It's crazy that we eat them then. It doesn't make sense. It's like,
you cook it up and it's fine. It's going in your Instapot. It's tasty.
I guess. But it's the risk involved, the risk that the risk, like, I don't know. I think, well, no, that's too dark. Never mind.
No, please.
Well, I'm just afraid of like, I've been thinking a lot lately about like, like food shortage and stuff. And when it comes to like animals and just how much like the big push for Beyond Beef and like just how much more prevalent like animal product substitutes are. And I'm wondering if I should just start phasing chicken out entirely. If it's this dangerous, and if it's a fucking bird that is also like sick, the bird flu and all that. But maybe that was fake news. I don't know. I don't know what to trust anymore. I wish life wasn't so hard.
Grocery stores are like a symbol of like the difficulties, like the twin convenience and like disaster of modern living. Like I think that's being.
Yeah. Sorry.
Adam and I are finding that to be true with each passing week. Like, oh yeah, this kind of symbolizes everything with society, good and bad or whatever. So,
No, literally, yeah.
I mean, we've come a long way from the chained up bear.
But have we?
Yeah.
Like,
That's a really.
When you think about the person at Trader Joe's asking me the question of the day, is that the chained up bear of the 2020s?
Yeah. Wow. The bear didn't have as good material. That didn't have the writers that your checkout person had. Question of the day.
Yeah,
that's why I got fired.
Its patter was too bad. Not work on your patter next time. Well, maybe we'll rehire you, bear. Adam, I know where you were going with this though. Like,
where?
Did you see these studies about the conveyor belt, like sanitation, like the bacteria levels and stuff like that?
No. Go there.
Okay. This is a study from 2014 where they said it was conducted by Dr. Xinhong Yan, who took 100 samples from 42 grocery stores in Michigan. And the interpretation of this, I believe he is also a epidemiologist, but he says that like there is bacteria on conveyor belts, but it's not like deadly bacteria that will kill you. Like they're like heavy duty bacteria. There are definitely things that are alive and living, but like you don't need to be too concerned about it. Like just wash your vegetables, and like it's none of the stuff that's really going to make you get super ill, like on a typical conveyor belt. So yes, they are alive. Yes, they are crawling with, little critters and stuff, but like don't be too alarmed. Pay no attention to the man on the conveyor belt. So
I thought that was going another direction.
So what have you found?
No, not.
Yeah,
I didn't look this up. So I thought you were gonna go to like, oh, we need to wash our cereal with bleach when we get it home, kind of stuff.
Well, so and it's very funny because like this guy got this information from the NoroCore annual meeting, which I guess is the convention for people that study neuro illnesses. Which I love the name NoroCore. But yeah, it's high levels of non like sick making bacteria essentially. So yes, tons and tons of bacteria, but nothing too terribly bad. Like he says that if you see somebody with their chicken leaking, if somebody like Vera is not putting their chicken in a bag and it's dripping chicken goo all over the joint and getting into the gears and stuff, you might ask for somebody to sanitize the conveyor belt, but unless you like physically see contamination, as of this 2014 study, you're probably okay. I mean, this is pre-COVID stuff also, which I think is worth mentioning.
I feel like you can't really catch COVID from, probably wouldn't get COVID on a conveyor belt because of the surface thing. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if, again, I don't know what you can trust anymore. Everything's so politicized. Maybe COVID could exist on a conveyor belt. I'm honestly relieved that it's not, because as you were like gearing up to say all that, I was like, am I going to be walking away from this podcast with like extra anxiety every time I'm at the grocery store about getting sick?
I think I'm still going to put my carrots on there. I do know how to clean carrots, as my earlier hand motions have demonstrated. But carrots, zucchinis, potatoes, they'll be just fine. Just give them an extra scrub when you get back. This article does mention this thing, and I kind of alluded to this. This is from Ben Chapman. I do want to give the name of the researcher who put this together. But he says, like, you don't need to ask for the conveyor belt to be sanitized unless you see like that chicken juice dripping or something like real nasty. And I have been in the situations where the conveyor belt, I show up, the conveyor belt's gross. I don't know if I would have it in my heart to ask a person doing the checkout, like, can you actually just sanitize this before I put any groceries on there? Like, would y'all do that?
No.
It'd have to be really, really bad for me to do. It'd have to be literal shit. Otherwise, I would not do it. Yeah.
I'm afraid to even like if a waiter brings me the wrong food, I don't say anything. Like I can't imagine ever doing that.
There are innovations in bacteria mitigating conveyor belts. When you look at where the grocery store conveyor belt industry is moving to in the future, a lot of the innovations are focused on, I think the two big things, and I'm sure you saw this as well, Adam, was like antimicrobial covers for the conveyor belt that also have advertisements on them. So I don't know if I've ever seen like one of these conveyor belts that advertise. Is that something you're seeing in LA very much?
I've never seen one. You would think like during the Super Bowl or something, you would see something like that, but no, I've never seen. Yeah,
I feel like it's slightly ringing a bell. I wonder if I saw it like in the Bay Area or something. It feels like something that you'd see in the Bay Area. No offense to our Bay Area listeners.
Yeah. So along the lines of current stuff, I just wanted to read you this because it's a good example of modern capitalism. There's a company called Mole Belting Supplies, and supposedly,
I've got this.
Supposedly, they supply 95% of the country's grocery store conveyor belts. This single company, okay, and they were acquired by a company called Belt Power. So Mole Belting was acquired by Belt Power, and Belt Power also acquired Dunham River and Belting Corporation. And then they were acquired by Platte River Equity. So basically, we have the belt market just completely swallowed up. Apparently,
I mean, it was I just, when I go to the grocery store and I put my groceries down on the conveyor belt and I'm like, I wish I had more choice. I wish I had more options under capitalism for which conveyor belt I'm putting this on, but was not to be, unfortunately.
Well, that brings up something that I hadn't really considered, like when, it comes to like a monopoly, like obviously, because I mean, I'm thinking about that all the time with like film and like Disney or will probably own everything someday. But in this case, it's like maybe I'm okay with it. Maybe I'm okay. Like I don't need the variety of, and like again, I'm not convinced that it is making my shopping experience more efficient. So unless like some up and comer, like belt manufacturer has some sort of real new innovation that's going to really like change the game, I'm kind of cool with like just one equity for owning.
But what if they like start cheaping out on the rubber and then grocery store conveyor belts just start snapping across the nation, whacking people in the face, and you're like, I wish I had choice in the marketplace. I wish there was a competitor to keep people honest on their grocery store conveyor belts. So
mom and pop belting company, TikTok shop for better conveyor belts. Yeah,
we've been making conveyor belts for grocery stores since bears used to run these since the 1930s. It's been in the family for generations. Adam, did you see any conveyor belt injuries?
No, I didn't see that. Tell me about it.
Oh, okay. I mean, this kind of goes back to, Vera, you were talking about getting on top of one of these when you were a kid. But it's like the legend you hear about somebody getting mangled in like an escalator at the mall. Mm-hmm. Like you always hear the story, but could it be true? I do have a article from the UK Independent about a toddler who lost his finger I believe in Bogota, Colombia. And it doesn't say exactly. It says the boy just put his hand on the belt and then it kind of got sucked in. And obviously if you got them small enough fingers, maybe they'll get in that slot and some of the machinery could take it off. The boy is Tiago, and the mother was obviously quite upset about it. And apparently like totally just severed the finger. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah. I don't know if that one was made by our friends at Mole Belting or whichever
Belt Power or Dunham Rubber and Belting Corporation. Yeah, hopefully not.
but that's as recently as like 2023 is when this article is from. So like you'd think that they'd have some safety mechanisms in place in our modern era, right? I guess not.
I guess not. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. The device in and of itself, it's like, I don't know if there is a way to make it safe.
I mean, they have those little teeth on the escalator, but those always look a little more dangerous than friendly.
Well, I've had my shoelaces have got, within the last 10 years, I've had shoelaces get stuck in an escalator. So
really?
I could, but my shoes are often untied because I'm eccentric.
I've had my shoelaces get caught in there, and it's terrifying. And wasn't there a Final Destination or something where somebody died because of that?
I do want to debunk a quick myth very quickly, and then I have some topics to throw at y'all. But this comes from a Reddit post, so take it with a grain of salt. But I have always been very curious about. You put your food on the grocery store conveyor belt, it moves along, and then it kind of stops before it spills over onto the like scanning square. And I guess there was a lot of theorizing as to how that happens. Obviously, like I could go to a grocery store and just probably ask the person behind the register, and they'd be happy to tell me. But it is a sensor. There was some speculation that it was maybe a foot pedal. I would have guessed it was a weight mechanism under the conveyor belt, but it's actually like a garage door that like won't close on something when the beam is broken. They have a little thing like that, so when things get to the front and it breaks that little, I don't know if it's a laser or a beam of light, but that's when the conveyor belt kind of knows when to stop, which I thought was very interesting. But a little myth debunking there, and very curious if you're buying like a mirror, if you're buying like a bunch of mirrors from the grocery store, like would it totally just, fritz out the conveyor belt mechanism? Like, we're all going to the store and buying like, little dental mirrors and stuff and arranging them delicately on the conveyor belt.
I believe that you are very curious about that.
I mean, have y'all ever heard of a foot pedal? It's like when you're playing guitar and you've got like, what do you call that? Like an output pedal. Then it's like you're just stomping on the thing to make the conveyor belt stop. Like, I think that's a wild concept too.
That was the original when the automated ones were first introduced. That was how they controlled them. Yeah.
No, I guess no answer to that question would have surprised me how they know when to stop on that. But love it, fascinating. And do you think they had the bear step on the little pedal, or do they have like? They must have had another guy standing next to the bear, like helping
there's
out
no
with
way
that.
The bear was doing all the work by himself. There's just no way.
He was just really complaining, just like he doesn't pick up his slack. I got to do everything here.
I got paired with a bear again at work today, dear. All right, I've got questions for y'all. How are we stacking things on the conveyor belt? Like when you're shopping, are you putting thought into like how you're organizing your cart, and then are you putting thought into how you're organizing like what you're putting on the conveyor belt to take home?
It really depends on what medication cocktail I'm on. I was on ADHD medication for a few years, and I think during that period, I was definitely stacking things in a manner that, like almost like a Tetris game or something. I would stack them onto the conveyor belt in a way that made physical sense for the conveyor belt. But now I just put stuff on there, just kind of willy-nilly. I'm more like kind of coming in from the place of like, I'm ready to get out of here. I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to watch some cartoons.
Mm-hmm. You're putting a lot of trust, and I think you should, and I think this is a good thing to do, but you're putting a lot of trust into the bagger. you're trusting that the bagger knows what they're doing. We'll be able to make sense of the chaotic mind that loaded up the conveyor belt.
I just want to I want to go on the record right now and say that I don't think I've ever had a bad experience with a bagger at a grocery store. I think I generally think, you know, like the people that bag at grocery store, it clearly takes a talent. There's clearly like a skill involved to that, and I've never been disappointed. I wouldn't be able to do it. I like literally would be the worst bagger you could put at the wheel of something like that. But so I trust them.
Okay. I think I do too. They generally do know what they're doing. I don't have the spatial awareness to bag correctly, and it's always a fiasco when I have to do it myself. Adam, how are you stacking up your cart or your conveyor belt?
I definitely trust the bagger because even if I were to try to maneuver it in a way that I think would be best, like they're not going to do that. So you got to just let them do what they got to do. The only thing I probably do is I usually put cold stuff with cold stuff. Beyond that, it's kind of willy nilly.
I try and keep like things together, but I'm a very chaotic supermarket shopper in general. I was at the store with somebody recently and like I had to apologize. I said, "Oh yeah, I shop like a psycho. Like there's no rhyme or reason to what I'm doing, but if I'm getting like, you know, 6 Gatorades, I will try and like at least cluster the Gatorades together for the ease of scanning. But beyond that, no thought is going into like how I'm lining things up on the conveyor belt. How close are y'all stacking your food to whoever's in front of you? Like, are you going real close? What's the space situation?
I mean, I'm sorry if this is jumping on one of your other questions, but I feel like the etiquette, it really depends. Because they have those barriers, you know, those I don't know what they're actually called.
The dividers, I think I've seen them commonly called. Yeah.
It is your responsibility when you are done like putting things onto a conveyor belt, the grocery store conveyor belt, out of your basket. It is your responsibility to put that divider up so that I know I am now in a place where I can put things on the conveyor belt and you know, our food won't get mixed up. And I would say the majority of Americans now do not do that. It's something I've noticed in the last decade that the people, it's complete chaos when you get up there. I know that doesn't quite answer your question, but to me, it's like I respect the divider. The divider, it's like as long as I could hug that divider, but if the divider's not there, I don't want to even put my stuff down.
I'm the same way. Like, I mean, at the conveyor belt and the back end, at least the one I was using most recently, it has like a little shelf where the belt is coming out of. And if somebody doesn't have that divider down, I'll load up that shelf. And that's my way of saying, "Hey, stupid, put the divider down." Like, look at how much I'm trying to like give you space here. You know, sometimes there isn't the divider. Sometimes they're short on the dividers. So It's not always the person in front of you's fault. But once the divider's in, I will hug. I will stack tall. I'll get as close as I can to somebody else's stuff. I do have the problem sometimes where my things are like my loose carrots or zucchinis can roll over into somebody else's stuff or something will topple. But you know, I'm paying attention. I'm not a absentee checkout person. I'm keeping an eye on what's happening there. So,
100% agree about it being the responsibility to do the divider. No question about that. In terms of placement, I'm not thinking about it too closely. But if I had like a couple cans of beans, which upright, don't roll, and then a cabbage. Like I'm going to put the beans there so that the cabbage is not rolling around into their food. But usually I don't worry about it too much.
And I guess the other thing, and this might be a whole nother can of worms or can of beans. Maybe we don't have time to get into this. But have you all seen these circular conveyor belts that they have at certain grocery stores? I think John's in Los Angeles, where y'all might have been, the John's in Los Feliz has it's kind of it doesn't feel old fashioned, but it's like, it's not a conveyor belt, but it's like a big turntable. You put your groceries on the turntable and it kind of spins around. Have you all seen those?
Yeah, I feel like that John's in Los Angeles is where I've seen it. But that's definitely the only place.
I grew up with those, like going to, I think, some more rural grocery stores, like in Southern California. And again, I'm using rural and Southern California loosely here, but like outside of Bakersfield, I think you'd see that kind of mechanism a little bit more. I think it's for smaller loads. I think it's for like the 15 item or less generally. But I think because it's like not a belt, it's more solid pieces. I think they break down a little bit less, which if you're, in Weed Patch, California, maybe you can't get somebody out from the conveyor belt factory as easily as you could in, say, Los Angeles. So, but any thoughts on those? Do we like those? Is that too big of a topic to wind down with?
I'm like Google image searching them now. I'm like lost in a sea of them, and I think they're beautiful. I wish, I think the other thing that, and again, not to open up a can of worms, but you think about, those the sushi experience with a conveyor belt, and how exciting that can be. I was at a barbecue. My friends brought their kid to a barbecue for the 4th this past weekend, and the little kid, it was the little kid's birthday was coming up, and we were like, what are you doing for your birthday? And she was like, we're going to get conveyor belt sushi. And it was like, oh, that sounds so, the pure joy of just having food come right up to you, that you can just pull off of a conveyor belt. That's fun.
All confessions, like I'm very confessional. That's what I like to do on my birthday, is go get conveyor belt sushi. So like, call me a little 5-year-old at heart, but that is my favorite thing to do.
Look, I don't judge you. It sounds great.
I do have concerns, since we've been having the conversation. I don't know if that's the most efficient way to get sushi to me specifically, the conveyor belt, but sure is fun.
No, well, in that case, it's just for the fun. It's just, that's not.
So I did research on this one. 1958 was the first sushi conveyor belt, which is way earlier than I would have expected. It was invented because the guy had trouble staffing his sushi restaurant and couldn't run the establishment by himself. So he let him serve customers quickly without increasing his staff. So
okay,
could not hire people.
So it's more efficient for the sushi chef, the guy who's running the shop. That's good. I wonder if in the Jetsons, that was like just how everything's like on a conveyor belt in the Jetsons. If that was like a joke, or if it was actually like a vision of the future that somehow was going to be where we were at. I assume it's a joke, but
yeah, I mean, it does feel. I can't hand you these groceries. I can't hand you this sushi. Like, let me just put it here, and then the friendly robot will push it along on my behalf. And I can go look at my phone or pick up this copy of Us Weekly and find out who Brad Pitt is snogging this week. It's very luxurious to have the conveyor belt carry the food along. Do we have any final thoughts on conveyor belts?
No, I mean, I think this has probably been the most thoroughly anybody's ever talked about the subject, and with such levity and friendship and good humor.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, Adam, any final thoughts?
Nope. I mean, nope. I think we did good. I think we covered the subject. I'm happy about our conveyor belt.
As a guy who recently spilled chicken juice on a conveyor belt at a grocery store, and it was buying a whole chicken, and the bone punched the shrink wrap, and I'll be honest with you, we were coming back from brunch, and I had a few in me. I had a few honks of tequila in me, and I kind of had a little bit of a meltdown about the chicken juice leaking all over the place. And I want to apologize to the guy. I wasn't rude, but I was like, I just kind of would like to not get the chicken. I think I'm a little too grossed out by the chicken, and I encouraged him to like wipe down the conveyor belt. So I did ask for the sanitization. This was like in the last month, and
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I hope I wasn't a monster, but also I don't want anybody. Never thought about the contamination so thoroughly before. So.
I'm glad you came. Thanks for coming clean about this.
Yes,
you had other opportunities. We covered chicken, like the protocol, and I felt it really feels like you had to get this off your chest, like right down to the wire.
I had to sanitize my conscience before the wheels of karma pushed it and gunged up the machinery, contaminated the machinery of the greater cosmos. So,
very good.
Vera, what are you working on? Where can people find you if they want to know more? Obviously, The People's Joker is the sensation of the last few years. But what's new? What's next? Where can people find you?
People can find me at Vera Drew 22. I mostly post on Blue Sky nowadays, but I'm my Twitter account is still active, and I'm also on Instagram. I acted in a movie that is about to premiere at Fantasia Fest. It's called Every Heavy Thing. Mickey Reese directed it. It's a really cool movie, and I'm really proud of my work in it. So keep a lookout for that. I think it's kind of going to be doing the festival run for a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I'm working on my next film right now. I can't really talk too much about it, but if you follow me, I'm sure I won't shut up about it soon enough. But yeah, it's and in general, I'm really trying to. If I want to act more. If anybody listening to this wants to. It was so cool. It was like being in this movie. Every Heavy Thing was so fun because it was just like getting to just show up to set and just like not be direct. It's so fun. And so I've just been making sure I've been saying that whenever I have a microphone in my hands. Please make me I want to be an actor.
It's like you are a can of beans put on a conveyor belt and you just have to move along. You do not have to put the can there. You do not have to tell the can where to go. It is just being moved along in a beautiful direction. And then you know that it's going to get cooked at home and it's going to turn into a wonderful dish.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Put Vera in your movies.
And then watch The People's Joker if you haven't yet. If you haven't, what the hell are you doing? ThePeoplesJoker.com. It's available on all formats, and it still screens in theaters all the time, which is cool.
I saw it on the big screen, and it was absolutely worth seeking on the big screen. So if you can do that, I'd recommend it. I loved it. It's a phenomenal movie. Congrats.
Why, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Is that going to do it for Clean Up on Aisle podcast for this week with me, Jef Harmatz, and Adam Fligsten and Vera Drew?
You're the host.
Oh, yes. That is do it for us. Yes. Started that as a question, and I realized I was answering the question. But yes, that is going to do it for us, everybody.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on.
All right.